In other words, they were cut off from access to this tree of life. They were cut off from access to the Holy Spirit of God. And I'm telling you, nothing has really changed in the past 6,000 years. Mankind, for the most part, with the exception of the first fruits that God is now calling, has been cut off from access to the Holy Spirit of God. Now, I can just hear someone say, well, yeah, but when Jesus came, He made the way of salvation possible for everyone. Yeah, that's partly true. He did make it possible for everyone if God is calling you right now. And that's a big if. You know, He may or may not be calling you right now. Notice John 6 and verse 44. Jesus said, "No man can come to me except the Father which has sent me draw him, and I will raise him up at the last day." In other words, the opportunity to receive the Holy Spirit of God comes by invitation only. If you don't get the invitation, you're not invited, okay, right now, temporarily. It comes by invitation only. God has to do the calling. And you know, God will not call a person 1 second before they're ready to accept the truth. And I'm saying most people are just not willing to accept the truth right now. And in other words, what I'm saying is that you cannot place yourself into God's church. You just can't. You just can't say, you know, I'm getting old and ugly and I'm wearing out. And I think since the doctor just told me I had 3 years to live, got this cancer or whatever, I think I'll go get me some religion. I'm going to get in the church and get saved. Impossible. You cannot do that. God has to do the calling. God has to send out the invitation. And Jesus said, no man can come to me. Do you believe that? No man can come to me unless the Father draw him. You know, for the most part, in other words, right now God is only calling a first fruit, and that is not the majority, but that's the minority right now. Now, it doesn't mean that the rest are lost. It just means that it's not their time right now. Most people are simply shut up in unbelief right now. God looks at the heart of man. And He looks at the heart and He says, you know, if I were to show that person truth, they would reject it. They wouldn't be obedient to my law, my commandments. They would reject that flat out. And so God looks at the heart and He just says, right now, since of the way they are, the rebellious heart, I'm just going to shut them up in unbelief. I'll deal with them later. Okay? Most people fit into that category of having been shut up in unbelief. There's a reason people don't believe. It's because God has shut them up in unbelief right now.
Is that really in the Bible? What you think is in the Bible is not.